certain soul.
Na obi be wu amatakra de man nyina have a news all over Ghana. Who say?
The prophet is saying that.
I don't go for to my yesu ni wiase for to my wiase nyina me hu se ni padom dribika. E batakra de ha.
Was there?
Bofo no ba me nchen. Ade ba kwa me hu ya e ha me e sa koda no. Me hu se.
And he saw that.
Obi ato agyan se pia.
Somebody had.
Ade na bo no. Nwini won ne bo so.
And it is actually forming on the heart.
Yeah, one of the huge organs that won nipadua mu no.
All right, so this might come as a shock to a lot of people, but some of us were just waiting for the right time for this particular news to be dropped. Now, Koda, more details about his untimely death is now being surfaced on social media. We are getting more info as to how this man died and even how long he was battling this kidney disease in silence. And even now, the major issue I see politicians, any ministers be, or Modi or Manuel Atum said, they be, how come a doctor misdiagnosed Koda, which eventually led to his case worsening. Yes, it be a cool, but a case no a worse, which means also now perhaps no, it just even derailed his chances of even having a recovery. But today, there's a video air circulating on Twitter. This particular video, no more patches a sophobia or shell comes say Koda would die. Now, commissioner, people are speculating, say, I don't believe Ghana for we've passed that level because in Pimpin, in Ipani Yaria, see information about say a bro yarn and I'm sorry, and OGG scan to bois. Nina could see $200,000, not cities, dollars. Omode Kobwa, Omutimidi year operation, ne transplant. So it is obvious, say, I saw food binom, a former switch, say, oh, Koda was sick. Intino, Ibi Obitmakasa or Yare dia any. Meka prophecy na uwa dachi biano a bit my any muso kasa. No, the man said it. He had no idea that Koda was sick. And question the video involve an ICGC pastor, a friend Reverend Richard Boateng. He prophesied about the death of musician Koda. Man forecast said this world is something.
Because I showed me who else can you share me who. Takra demo betia some money.
In Takra, you are about to hear a bad news.
But who see a pata?
The prophet of God is seeing a tent.
Now, if you're not going to 9 and
this imagery has come to the prophet all time.
It
is a bad news.
But who this year be a OPS and Sroma or Takra?
The man of God is seeing a soul that is emerging here in Takra.
I said, OCP, who said, Opiama or mine.
How the person is coming up, he's coming for the whole nation.
But who said?
The prophet of God is seeing that.
I won't be decided to say,
certain spirits have gone for meeting and decided to bring that soul down. Please let's pray for a certain soul.
Now, Obi be wu amatakra de man nyina have a news all over Ghana.
Somebody is about to die in Takrade and it will be news everywhere. There is a young man that ministers here.
You
call him Koda.
But who said?
The prophet of God is seeing that. They have. It is not because of good news. The prophet is seeing that. All kinds of musicians are gathering in Takrade. The man of God is a prophet. If we don't pray about it.
Now I want us to pray and shift this cloud from this part of the country.
Amen.
Are you in this place?
Yes, Lord.
The
person is not here, so we can't delve deep into it. This afternoon, when the prophet was there, the angel came to him. He stretched his hand on the wall. He began to show the prophet imagery. And he saw a lot of things concerning the land Takrade. One of the things he saw that he was not pleased with. And he saw that somebody has shot an arrow. And the thing has hit him. And it is actually forming on the heart. And the thing is giving him problems. If we are not careful,
one of the huge organs that won't problem,
a problem will come. And it won't be a good news. The man of God is seeing people sad. We are telling the Lord. In this house, the prophet.
Amen. Now only the panel free sounds so pretty. Okay. Over to my bones, my bumpire. Clap your hands and fire the prayer.
All right, so that was a year software or day a year prophecy new a tuja a software Richard one of the ICGC temples in Takrad. Now, some neba man forecast regardless what people are saying, they believe that he had a hint about Koda's sickness, because the way he was he gives specifics, the name, the detail, and even what is really happening with one of his organs, which means I don't know. Maybe most forecast say yes, he doesn't know any Koda ni ade Nyankopon yi kire na ye kokko and na obo Koda, but God knows what is best. This is exactly what is really going on, but the ACB and AC Koda ko akamenewo. We will definitely leave this earth. We just don't know how. You could see some Koda edit to ja bra na on then down for kasa about how we talk or react to certain prophecies.
The picture you take and the posing you pose, but the experience that people have with you. Yeah. What's the experience that they have with you? That's your brand. So if somebody has been there and you mistreated the person, that is your brand. So the next person will say, no, unless I see this and that, I am not showing up. I think I can Danny, I see Daniel is bubbly. So
Danny, Danny, no, yours, let me add a small twist to it.
Okay.
Danny, you grew up in church. You are like me. You respect men of God, which is good. How do you manage a situation if one of our papas has invited you? Confession, so Danny. If one of our papas has invited you for maybe a friend say Pay Angel Festo 2022. We no say my son, you will hear from me. One thing in 2023, Pay Angel Festo, my son, come and be a blessing to us. Daniel, let's go.
Wow. You see, one of the things that Pastor Rev Neokai said at ending and about Brandon, said that you see, the brand experience is what people interpret and carry with them. I always say, and I've mentioned a lot of times, that brand is not what you say you are, it's what the people say you are. Now, in this case, another thing that I'll make reference to, which also for Neokai said, was that for every event or for every anything you choose to honor, there is an opportunity cost. So, in fact, with this, it is very simple and straightforward. With this, your question, that if the previous festo didn't manifest, then in this time around, we want to consider others who probably their manifesto would actually speak properly. Because what is the guarantee? What's the reference point? What is everything that there is to be able to even come and minister happily? One scripture I love very much in the New Testament is that giving should be cheerful. Is that if you have to give, you are giving, you have to give cheerfully, and it is not just money. Everything that you give in this life, especially if it's got to do with the work of God, if it's got to do with God, it has to come with that cheer. Cheerfulness also like endorses the fact that the thing is coming from deep down within your heart.
Yeah.
So you are not doing it grudgingly, and you are doing it with all there is to it. So if that can't happen, then I beg to say that we don't have anything doing on that stage, because at the end of the day, it is not about our papa or anybody. So whatever that we are coming to do, the conditions must be such that we can give cheerfully. So with this idea, I beg, it won't happen. Now, Koda, for someone like me, I haven't gotten to that point. Although I do music, but I haven't gotten to that point where I've been on the receiving end of being invited and stuff. But I have been on the other side as an event organizer, working with my local ministries, inviting people and so one of the things that I'm very particular and that I always want to ensure is fairness, respect, and the honor that comes with it. With all that is being discussed, Koda, is a simple thing that is gone out of the window completely, and that is us just being fair to each other. Senior Papa being fair to the minister being, let us just be fair. I mean, just that simple thing. If we are being fair to each other, you would know, and you would consider that fact that, Koda has to travel with a team, from point A to point B to even arrive at my church. Maybe Osofuni needs to fly from Ghana to arrive at Heathrow Airport and be picked up, and all those things. There are certain basic logistics that you don't expect it to happen out of the blue. And with that being said, I think it should be very, very clear in the conversation. And let me also confess, one of the things that I learned it from Osofuni. The first time we invited Osofuni, for worship after speaking with him and everything, he sent me an email with certain questions. In fact, I think that was the first time that I was receiving such questions with like a sorry event. And it really shaped my thinking, because I got to realize that there are certain protocols that need to be followed properly. And this word is his word. I know he loves it. There should be no gray areas. So all the gray areas has to be shaded with a particular color. So and it was a good learning curve for me. So in that sense, we are very sure that when Osofuni arrives, he is happy, he's comfortable. If there is anything, the margin of error wouldn't be so much. And that is one of the things that is always completely goes out, or we don't consider. So it brings all these things. If we are just being fair to each other, if we are just considering or respecting, it's a mutual respect. The fact that maybe you are a big Osofo of God, God bless you for that, but at least show the young person or the young minister to that respect. And it is biblical. In whichever way you turn it, it is biblical, it is corporate, it is everything. Respect is even something that is very much required, even in the corporate sense. When you sit around the table to negotiate any form of contract, there's something we call the mutual respect. That the conversation.
So, Danny, then maybe one other thing that I would love to say is that, and we beg our papas, please don't victimize people over these things.
Now, Koda, you know what I would say to that?
Mate.
So the victimization, I'm not too sure if that is exactly what it is, but I think that sometimes there is this notion of maybe putting the fear of God, quote and unquote, so that there is that fear that would cause you to not ask certain questions, or not have even the boldness and confidence to be able to freely clarify certain things. And it's not right. Sometimes some of these things then turn into manipulations and all sort of things. And if you have to speak out about it, then you are blackmailed or you are blacklisted.
Okay, so confessions. I mean, there's a particular place that whatever me and me have passed through before. Superficially, they like me more. Do you know why?
Why?
Because I won't talk about it. But you see, my not talking about it does not mean I'm happy about it. My not talking about it means that I am making a decision in my heart that this particular place, I will not step here again. But Atani spoke about it and they said that no. Why is Atani feisty?
So that is the difference the difference in personality, right?
No, yes, but in effect, come on, Jimmy, Diana, better because need it. Okay, we are not someone apologize or baby you. Me.
And Koda, let me bring another dimension to it, and I have a story that I will tell with that without giving too much away. So I think the other side too is that the approach. I'm always about how something is being done, the approach, the way you go about it. You know, it's so key and important. Even if, let's say, the man of God does something or the ministry does something which is not appropriate, in lack of a better word, I also think that when we approach it, we should find the best possible ways to approach it such that it wouldn't come out wrongly. Okay. So that is for the other side. Now let me give an example. A couple of years ago, this should be around it should be more than that. This is around 2014, 2015, thereabout. There was an event here in London, one of the very, very big churches, and then some brothers of ours were part of these events. Right. They were part of these events, and I don't know what the conversation was or the detail of the conversation. I mean, I was around helping with the logistics up and down, but then also close with the main organizer and the father who organized this event. Now, after everything, what I was told or what I heard from a very reliable source that the check or the honorarium that was given to this ministers were something that they were not happy about. They were not. But then in communicating that, the approach was quote unquote not seen as respectful. It was seen as very antagonizing and disrespectful, to the extent that as at now that I speak, that ministry has never called these ministers to any of their churches again.
Any of their churches?
Yes. And it is even gone to the extent that I heard one of them wanted to come and host an event